Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for listening to this. So this message is in response to a 30-day declaration, if you will, that we made. And it's to test out certain principles and to see how effective they are. It's written in Joshua 1 that if we meditate on the word day and night, that we will be prosperous and successful. So we've set out to do this in a more refined and defined way. Step 1 being that you decide what you want. Step 2, confirm alignment. Step 3, write the vision. Step 4, commit with gratitude. Step 5, meditate in the morning, just as the Bible verse says. Step 6, speak truth midday. Step 7, reflect at night. And step 8 is to act daily. And then step 9, repeat it for 30 days. So one of the questions in response to this was, number 1, why write it on real paper? Number 2, what does it mean to speak truth midday? Number 3, what is the difference between reflection and meditation? And number 4, what committing with gratitude means. So I'm going to respond to those questions. Number 1, why write it on real paper instead of, I guess the Good question is why write it on real afternoon, good paper. morning, I'm going to good evening, go wherever you are. further and explain why write it on real paper versus putting it in a tablet. I'm assuming that's what he meant. But first off, why write it on paper? Number 1, I'm going to share what has worked in my life, okay? I believe that experience is the best teacher. It's a confirmation of truth. When you experience something, no one can take that away from you. And I've experienced this numerous times, more than I can remember. There's never been a time that I've committed to paper and been serious about it, anything really, and I haven't received it. The ones that I didn't receive or I didn't see the manifestation of were because I didn't have faith in them. So it's not magic. It's not magic. It's embodiment. Even in Scripture, God repeatedly ties reality to physical acts. Moses wrote the law. Habakkuk was told to write the vision. Jesus wrote in the dirt. And the commandments were given in stone for a reason. So in my eyes, paper is a form of agreement. It's you taking something that's in your head, in your heart, in your mind, and putting it on paper and making it visible, making it something that you can see. So it's like when you make an indentation in wood. A thought can leave your mind, but when you see it in wood, it's there. It's physical. It's real. In business, we sign contracts, and it becomes real. Before that, it's just talk. So writing is a signature to your own mind and to your own body. And so that's one of the reasons why we write it on paper. Now, what I discovered recently, because I knew that there was something powerful about writing on paper, but what I discovered recently was that there's a big difference between using paper and digital formats such as phone, tablet. And this is based on real research about neuroscience and cognitive development. And so they used brain imaging technology. And when I say they, you have to go do the research yourself and look it up. But there are numerous research that shows this. And they have proven that when you write, just the physical act of handwriting, it activates certain neurons and I think they're motor cortexes within the brain that stimulate brain activity. Okay, typing and other forms of digital communication don't activate those neural pathways as much as handwriting. So it's very powerful. Basically, you're signaling and firing neurons in the brain. Okay, so this is one step closer to manifestation. Not to say that digital formats don't work. Okay, I'm just saying that it's more beneficial to write it. You're doing your body more service when you write it. And there's also other research that showed that when people handwrote things, they remembered them. And when you put them in a digital format, computer, tablet, whatever, it doesn't provoke the deeper thinking. So to keep it real simple, when you type, you can capture the information, you can store it in someone else's brain, versus writing, you're more likely to process it. So just the fact that your hand is moving in unique patterns, each of those patterns, we take them for granted, but they measured this, and those are firing neurons in your brain. And that neuron activity, it's growth. You're also watching it with your eyes. Okay, your eyes are doing work. That's visual tracking. And all these lead to powerful cognitive associations within the mind and the brain. So you're engaging your mind and your body. And at the end of the day, we're humans. Okay, so we need to embody and use our body and brain more. So this is why we write. When something is written, it holds a powerful meaning, and its depth. So the next question is, what does it mean to speak truth midday? Okay. So let's think about what midday actually means. We'll break down midday and we'll break down truth. So midday is the middle of the day, okay? And typically when you start a journey, the beginning is always going to be the excitement, and halfway through is when fatigue sets in. Halfway through is when your mind is busiest. And this is not all the time, but a lot of times. So this is when the reality starts to argue with your morning intention. For example, you wake up, you're motivated, and you say that I'm going to fast for the whole day. And by 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, that hunger kicks in. 3 o'clock, that hunger kicks in. Your mind is telling you all kinds of things. Your mind is saying things like, oh, just have a bite. Your body needs it. It won't hurt. You've already acknowledged and declared the truth in the morning. But by midday, you need to speak that truth again as a reminder. You need to acknowledge your identity. Because right now, midday, your identity is under pressure. So if you think about the example that we used in the previous call about the pilot, you have a plan, but storms can appear. And you don't, choose a new destination. All you do is you stay aligned. And so midday truth is just about realignment. Okay, it's just about reminding yourself. So to speak truth is to remember or to recall those truths that God has promised. Okay, it's saying, I'm guided. It's saying things that you need to know I can do all things through God, through Christ. I am loved. I'm protected. So that's the midday truth. It's just remembering who you already decided to be, because you go throughout the day and you forget that. I hope that brings clarity. Number 3, the difference between reflection and meditation. Very, very good question. And I think it's something I had to think about, because we do both, and both are very beneficial in the lives of kingdom builders, followers of Christ. But reflection, in very simple terms, is looking back. When you reflect, you can't reflect something. So for those of us who, can remember school, light is reflected. So there's a source and there's a reflection. So there has to be something to reflect. So reflection is just looking back. And meditation it's not looking back, but it's being in that moment. So it's being present right now. It's not looking forward or looking back. It's just being in the moment. So reflection, in very, very simple terms, as an example, is observing what happened. So at 12 o'clock, you can reflect on things that happened earlier in the week. You can reflect on God's goodness in your life. You can reflect on something that happened a year ago and how, the principles, the laws of God were observed. But meditation involves, you can pick one aspect of God, one theme from the scriptures, and think about that and just sit in that. So an example is the Lord is my shepherd. And what does it mean to be guided, to have a shepherd? So you're not thinking back, you're not reflecting. All you're doing is sitting in that moment with that one. Or for me, God is my source. God is my source. What does that mean? Everything comes from God. Meditating on that. And you can reflect on it too. But the difference is when you reflect on God as my source, you're thinking back to specific moments when that was demonstrated. When you meditate on it, you're not really thinking about it. All you're doing is, you're not thinking about the past. All you're doing is reflecting on God's goodness as your source today. And so when I meditate, I don't necessarily empty my mind. I just sit there, and it's more of a gratitude awareness, so to say. That one is a little harder to comprehend and grasp, but if there's more questions, feel free to ask. The next one is, what does committing with gratitude mean? So this one is very simple as well. Committing with gratitude, one of the things that I believe is a good commandment to have in your life is give thanks in everything. Not for everything, but in everything. And I believe it was 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 18. May be wrong, but Paul was writing to the people in Thessalonica and telling them to give thanks. And I took that as one of the stronger advice that Paul gave. And I think it's great advice. And it's worked for me in many areas of my life when I choose to give thanks. So committing with gratitude is just changing your emotional state. That's all it is. It's positive psychology. So because gratitude, what it does is it says that I'm shifting from acknowledging what's not there to acknowledging what is there. And if we look at what Jesus did, he gave thanks before multiplication, before the loaves And so that's something that I think we should follow, is committing with gratitude. Commit your prayer, commit your day, commit everything that you do with gratitude. And I think it's like planting a seed, and the gratitude is the sunlight. So, yeah. And here's a real world example. You maybe have a plan to work out. Gratitude simply says, when you commit with gratitude, it's simply acknowledging every part of your body that gets to work out, that gets to move. In business, if you've committed to make 100 calls, gratitude says you have the opportunity and the skill to make 100 calls. You're grateful for your lips, for your mouth, things that we take for granted. When you actually start to really, really think about it from a deep place of gratitude, it shifts your posture. So the last question, okay, that was the last question. All right. I hope I answered all the questions.